Okay, so here we go. Fantastic day for India, and the Dubai trio is back. This is our Asia Cup trio. We've flown Ashok from Dubai. Gargi was in Calcutta. In any case, up niche rakh do. Bag. That's what I'm doing. Come, let the bag and the accurate be there. Okay, and a great day for India. A great day for India. 36,000 people at the Eden Gardens witnessed action on day one. 159 South Africa. India 30 plus runs with just a wicket down. Ashok, just the perfect day that India could have asked for. Take this. You keep that.
Absolutely, it's such a vibe to be at the Eden Gardens. It's always such a big pleasure to come back. And you're absolutely right. With 36,000 people there, the stadium was really, really full of energy. People were all there. Who said Test matches over and done, right? Come and look at this. And I can bet that and I was talking to a few people. I made some friends today. They were saying they're going to come back tomorrow and day after being holidays.
Lovely.
We can expect crowds to be about 40,000 tomorrow.
Wow.
Same question.
No, this morning we all knew that tickets are sold out till day 3. We all knew that, but it was still a weekday. It was still early in the morning, and I was not expecting this much crowd to turn up. Honestly, because Indian stadiums are so big and they have such a huge capacity, usually you don't realize how many people are sitting in the stadium. When the message popped up on my phone, the notification that said, 22,099 people in the stadium, I was like, this is incredible. And it was only, I think, 9:30 or something at that point. I was like, this is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Yeah, and Ashok actually witnessed that Jasprit Bumrah spell. His first day. Devashish is still giving tickets. So the man to ask is Devashish Sen for tickets. There you go.
Need accurate.
No, he is the Dada of Eden Gardens.
Not at
By
all.
the way, if you guys have heard the public announcement system today, it was Miss Raut on the public announcement system on behalf of the Cricket Association of Bengal. But Ashok, talk to me about the Jasprit Bumrah spell. That ball to Aiden Markram was the turning point of the day. South Africa 57, master stroke by Shubman Gill, and the rest is history. 5 wicket in his first test match at the Eden Gardens.
Oh, so much to talk about. So much to talk about. But I think absolutely right. In the first session of play, I think India got 3 wickets. And when we were doing the review at the end of that first session, we said maybe one more wicket could have actually tilted the scales in favor of India in terms of that first session. But what really happened, if you ask me, is that India came back in the second hour. It was a perfect balance of a session. South Africa in the first hour and India in the second hour. But then the questions that were being asked were, is Bumrah going to be effective in the second session or not? And he came back and proved fitness is not an issue.
Not at all.
That's the point.
7 overs on the trot.
And then 5 again after lunch.
Yes.
So I think so many things to talk about. But I think Bumrah, 5 wickets today. His debut at Eden Gardens, fabulous bowling. I think when it comes to a crunch situation like this, there is nobody who can do the job as clinically as Bumrah can. There is more to talk about Shubman Gill. I'll come back on that one.
No, but first on Bumrah, then we'll come to
Yes.
First on Bumrah. Yes,
I have the mic. No, but when we talk about Jasprit Bumrah, the more you say that it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough because honestly, the kind of bowling that you were seeing, that first over wasn't quite right for Jasprit Bumrah, but the second that he came back, those first 2 wickets in the first session. And then you know what, I got a completely new perspective this time around in this match because I was on the PA system, and you're trying to get the crowd a little riled up. Nothing works. But as soon as you ask them to do a boom, boom, Bumrah, the crowd goes wild.
Oh, so that was my copy. So you were the one who was actually getting that done. Nice. I was like, why is the crowd going boom, boom, Bumrah? Now I know.
Me.
Well, that was you. Nice. But Bumrah, super.
Absolutely superb. I think the biggest question that was answered today was about his fitness, Ashok, as you rightly said. And I was talking to a few colleagues, and after the first 4 overs were done, I was like, they're pushing for more. And then 6 were done. And then he comes back again, and I was not expecting that 7th over. But to get that one clinical scalp in that 1 over, brilliant from Shubman Gill to persist with Jasprit Bumrah at that point, and the fact that Jasprit Bumrah can go on till that long without any sort of effect on his efficiency or his pace. Then he comes in and starts off after lunch again. So it tells you that Jasprit Bumrah is incredibly fit at the moment. Thoughts on Bumrah's intensity post lunch? Never did the pace drop. Ashok.
Absolutely. I think Bumrah was just amazing when he came back, in the post lunch session. He actually gave it all his best. And this was really prime Bumrah as we have seen him in his heydays. There's no giving even an inch of space, really. Of course, we must acknowledge what Siraj came and did, with those 2
absolutely.
wickets. But right now we're talking about Bumrah, and I think he did nothing wrong today. Gargi?
Siraj, when we talk about Mohammad Siraj, I was bringing up Siraj Boria, and again that little concern of that first spell not being enough. He wasn't quite there where we have seen Mohammad Siraj at the Oval. That's where you last left off Test cricket when it comes to Mohammad Siraj. India A as well, that last spell of his, getting that important breakthrough. I think it was Ackerman. That spell was brilliant from him as well. But today, again, that first spell was a little, it was a little erratic. And then coming back after that, keeping that intensity once the end was changed, it did wonders. And the fact that you could see Mohammad Siraj is the kind of bowler who will go up to the batter, who will, show them eyes, kind of show them that he's ready to throw the ball. When I think there was one moment where I don't remember who it was batting, but he stopped Mohammad Siraj mid-tracks, but he just ran up right to his face and the crowd went wild over there. So this is the kind of intensity you want to see from a fast bowler.
It's right. I mean, sorry.
Oops.
There you go. In Delhi also, if you remember, it was Mohammad Siraj who picked up that Shea Hope wicket after West Indies had put together a partnership after following on. Mohammad Siraj needs that spice. I was hearing someone in commentary say today that against Mohammad Siraj, South Africa just needs to be nice people. Don't give him that
Oh my
spice.
God.
But the moment you needle Mohammad Siraj, you do what Gargi said, you stop him mid-track or whatever, Mohammad Siraj will rile himself up. And that comeback was special. Went for 30 runs in his first 4, then to come back and pick those 2 post-lunch, bowled with verve after that Bumrah spell. I thought India was clinical. After 57 for no loss to bundle out a team for 159. And, it was India's day. Shujan Mukherjee will be very, very happy at the end of the day. The wicket, yes, up and down. Yes, it did turn. There were balls that did turn. On day 1, a good Indian effort in the first innings. This could be a 3.5-day test match, Ashok. I don't see this going to day 4, maybe even 3rd session.
Absolutely. In fact, I was sitting there and thinking about it that, I've come all the way from Dubai and you'll have to send me. But, I still want to stay on the Bumrah story. 35,000 people today sitting there and chanting boom, boom, Bumrah. When was the last time an Indian crowd did that for a bowler? Tell me that.
Gargi, you are responsible.
I'll take all the credit.
but I think it was, I had goosebumps really sitting there and watching the crowd and talking to a few people today. I think it was absolutely fabulous. I think at the show that we did in the morning, we spoke about how a target of about 300 would be daunting for India. And then to come back and bowl them out for 159, clinical job. Very well done. Absolutely.
I think, Buria, I want to ask you a question. This morning, when the team sheet was released.
A lot of comments are video lagging behind and quality not good.
We turn it around and...
Let's go to the ground a little bit more. That's it. It happened. It will happen in front of Eden Gardens that the video quality will not be to this.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really matter.
Have a look at my forehead, I guess.
Change spots, as you guys can see.
We're going to try from here.
So just bear with us.
We're going to try from here.
The video quality was lagging behind a little bit. We've tried to change spots. Hopefully, it will be a bit better. Because Eden Gardens, I mean, we've tried to move. It's still
Indian
lagging.
stadiums, it's not just Eden Gardens. It's
Yeah,
always like this,
stadiums
jammers.
and all of that. I mean, let's hope it gets a bit better. But who knows? It's still pretty bad, is what my assumption is. It's still hanging.
Yeah, there's a lag. So
Where do we go now?
There is a lag.
There is quite a lag there.
Will it stabilize, you reckon?
Just let's give it a second.
Will it stabilize, you reckon, or?
Just give it a second. I think that's much better.
It's much better now. Yeah, let's keep this.
But I wanted to ask you a question. This morning when the team sheet was released, and I got it a little bit before, it was posted in that BCCI group, and I looked at it and I was like, is this fake? For a second.
Oh, you were because of the announcement.
No, not because of the announcement, because of Washington Sundar at
No,
number
no,
3.
no. You got the thing.
Yes,
with-
yes,
with-
yes.
to make- yeah.
Yes. It instantly after the toss, I had got it, and I was just looking at it for two minutes. I didn't say it out loud because I was like, this seems wrong. Where is Sai Sudarshan? Why is he at number 12? Why is Washington Sundar at 3? And we were talking about a toss-up between Kuldeep and Aksar, and they're both in the team. So, once you look at it, once you understand the reasons of this management, because we have been following this management for so long, and you kind of understand where they are coming from, what the psychology is behind this selection. You know, Bori, I put out a tweet this morning saying that this is one of the most intelligent teams that I have seen for a home game. For a home game, this is a very, very apt team. Having looked at the wicket for the past 4 days that I have been here, this seemed like the perfect team that you could go with, but everyone disagreed. Everyone quite unhappy with the selection. What are your thoughts?
No, I'm not unhappy with the selection. I made that point in the morning. I'm making it again. If Washington Sundar comes good at number 3, and if you remember when he got that opportunity for India against New Zealand last year, he was coming at the back of 150 for Tamil Nadu. So Washington Sundar has batted at the top of the order for Tamil Nadu. He is a good enough batter. He scored 100 in Manchester, 50 at the Oval. And if you play this combination, you don't have to do a toss-up between Kuldeep Yadav and Washington Sundar. So clearly, is the video quality okay? It is now, yeah. Or it's still lagging?
Is it lagged or am I looking? No, I think it's fine.
It's fine.
It's just a
okay.
bit of lag.
You've got to manage that.
Help it.
Yeah, we've got to manage that. But yes, coming to the Washington Sundar point again, I do think he's got quality. I think Gautam Gambhir has pushed him in the deep end. There are 3 players who I will say are Gautam Gambhir creations in that sense: a Dhruv Jurel, a Washington Sundar, a Nitish Kumar Reddy, also a Harshit Rana. These are the 4 players along
Even
with
Sai.
Shubman Gill, the captain. Yes, Shubman Gill, the captain. These are Gautam Gambhir creations. Or rather, these are Gautam Gambhir's impact or legacy in many ways. If Washington Sundar puts together a good partnership tomorrow morning and gets a 50 or so on a difficult wicket, then you don't have the problem of the Kuldeep Yadav issue. You can look at the Kuldeep Yadav impact. Had you left Kuldeep Yadav out, he bowled beautifully even in the first session of the match. I think this is a good enough team. It's a bold team. Sai, you feel for Sai. No way that Sai Sudarshan needs to be left out or anything like that. But because of combination, I don't find fault in this team. Ashok, your thoughts? I'm quite okay.
I'll direct a question to you. Yeah. I was scrolling through social media and I saw many ex-cricketers saying that in a home game, you don't need 4 spinners. Of course, Sai Sudarshan being dropped is an unfair call there, is what they were saying. But 4 spinners in a home test?
So we talked about this at the morning show, and we talked about who's going to be the edge in terms of getting the wickets, and I picked Kuldeep, and soon thereafter he came in and delivered the goods. So I think really, I mean, this management has taken calls and proactive calls, and they have put their stamp in terms of decision making. This team allows flexibility in terms of 4 spinners as well as batting depth. Yes, the question of Sai Sudarshan is a pertinent question. There will always be issues in terms of who's getting picked, who's not getting picked when there is so much of talent around. But I think they're not doing injustice to the team when they select somebody like this. I don't see that as an issue at all.
But
See, the fact is, Kuldeep Yadav picked wickets.
Yeah.
Yes. Mohammad Siraj. Yes. Jasprit Bumrah. Yes. Aksar Patel contributed with a wicket. Yes. So what are you talking about? The fact of the matter is each one of them contributed. So if you are saying I will play Sai Sudarshan for Washington Sundar, that's not happening. Washington Sundar, if he now bats at number 3 and scores a 30-40 runs in a low-scoring test match,
then you'll say
is
it's a
justified.
masterstroke.
Of course. So this is also an experiment. You guys, we keep saying that had they not played Kuldeep Yadav, it would have been a defensive call. This is not a defensive call. This is a fair call. They've gone ahead with a batter, or rather an all-rounder who's as good a batter as anybody. He's proved that time and again in England. What is the problem? Yes, you feel for Sai Sudarshan, but overall as a team, I don't see this as a defensive ploy. I absolutely 3 genuine all-rounders in that mix without sacrificing Kuldeep Yadav. Had they did sacrifice Kuldeep Yadav, I would have called it out. Then there is a problem.
And you still bat till number 8. So
you still bat till number 8. And by the way, did you see Kuldeep Yadav was the one who was padded up for night watchman? So he's not a muck with the bat.
Yeah, and I think, the proof of the pudding is going to come out tomorrow. I mean, this pitch is going to be a difficult one. We saw Jansen really trouble the batsman, off a length, the ball tends to rise, and the batsmen really are struggling to kind of keep it down at that point of time. So it's going to be, what is going to happen tomorrow is going to determine whether this has worked or not worked. And my bet really is that somebody like Washington Sundar will deliver the goods in terms of, negotiating the conditions on this pitch and conditions of the match tomorrow. And then we will then be able to decisively say whether this strategy has worked or not. But I don't see an issue because there is batting depth, there is bowling flexibility, and there are people who have delivered. So where does the question arise?
The other problem which I'm not understanding is where this criticism is coming from, because this is not a team that you will take to Australia or rather or England. This is a team that is being used for India. This is a home series. This exact surface. That's what I've been saying, that having a look at the surface so closely, having spoken to Shujan Mukherjee, this looked like the perfect team that you could have put out there. Again, unfair on Sai Sudarshan, yes. But when it's a team-first approach, you will have to be unfair on someone. It is just the name of the game. You can't do anything about it. I'm going to take some comments, should I?
There's some, this thing
Super
also.
chats.
Super, whatever it's called.
Super chats.
Super chat. Okay.
Okay,
So,
I'll just take it here. No problem.
Yellow. You pull the other.
Okay.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
Okay.
1 second, I'll do it here. Okay, Srimanta Bhattacharya is saying terrible pitch, uneven bounce from day one. दूसरी बॉल में हो गया था. Average 15 overs will be lost every day. Bad choice of venue. Spin seam fine, uneven bounce. D1 not on.
What is it?
D1 not on?
Look, Joe, let me take it here. Then one can actually read.
No, but it goes from there. No, that's why I'm saying. It's not on. Just
Srimanto test will be over in 3 days with 50 overs lost. Why Eden this time? Pitch curator seems busy giving interviews, not making a proper surface. Hello. The Indian team wanted a particular kind of surface. The pitch curator tried to or did his job. The Indians do want a bit of turn. They do want a bit of purchase on the surface. You have to dig in. Don't blame the pitch curator. The pitch curator doesn't, sort of necessarily, if he's giving home advantage, India at the end of the day is 159 all out South Africa, India 35 for 1. Would you take that? You would. Go and ask the Indian team, if they win this match, would you take that? They wanted a dry surface. They wanted a surface where the spinners would come into play. And that's 100%. The whole issue of home advantage. Shujan Mukherjee is either side going to be damned. If he prepares a surface that doesn't help India, you will say, Arey, what is the problem? Why is the pitch curator not preparing a surface that is not helping the home team? So, Srimanto, restrain kora uchit. I think it's a... And why did the South Africans not dig in? 57 for no loss. Let's look at the wickets. How many wickets were done to spin? How many wickets were done to accept a couple to balls that kept low? How many wickets were rubbish shots? Vian Mulder plays a reverse sweep on day one after 3 or 4 reverse sweeps, gets plumb in front. You mean to say that's good test match batting? I'm sorry, that is not. And suppose India gets to 300, 350 runs tomorrow, what will you say? That it's a bad pitch? I don't think it's a bad pitch. If India gets to 350, it's about South African application. If South Africa did not apply, it's Indian bowling and Indian fielding, not South Africa's or something to do with pitch demons. I think we jumped the gun a bit too fast and put the curator on the block and slaughter him, because the curator can't come back and talk to you. So I think a little bit of restraint is needed here. Ashok, your thoughts, and both Gargi, your thoughts.
Absolutely. I think for India to get to 300, it will require focused application of the batsman to get to that. It's not going to be easy, and therefore, this thing that, to writing it off, saying that 50 overs gone, 3 days test match, it doesn't work that way, because I think it's going to be a stupendous effort for the team to even score the 300 mountain for India. Gargi?
The other thing is, when it comes to the pitch, because we are on the topic of the pitch, Shujan Mukherjee gets nothing by opposing the Indian management. He gets absolutely nothing, no advantage out of it. He categorically said that when it comes to KKR, I'm not going to do it. But when it's India, when it's for my country, I will do whatever I possibly can to go out there and make a wicket that will suit my team. In fact, he also said something along the lines of, they were asking for a spin track, but there was a conversation that South Africa also has 3 good spinners, and Shujan Mukherjee did everything possible to give a very, very neutral wicket that would somewhat favor the Indians. I think that's
I think the
point here.
jury is out. We will actually see, the ball turning as we go on with this test match, and therefore, I think some of these comments will become redundant as we wait for day 2 and day 3 to play out. So let's see how that happens.
Let's go through the wickets once, okay? And because that will help us talk about this a little bit. Because and by the way, Simonto, thank you for saying huge respect. But all I will say is, and by the way, I know you're a regular viewer. Just a bit of restraint. Ektu shanti rakho. Karan, when you talk about the curator, think about it. India awards a certain kind of wicket, and that's home advantage. 159 bowled out after India lost the toss. Would India take it? 100% yes. If they score 350 runs, they win this game. And India will say this is exactly the kind of surface that they wanted. Now take the Markram wicket. That you can say a bit of Bumrah magic, a bit of pitch, because it jumped up. Rickleton, not pitch.
Brilliant delivery.
Brilliant. Vian Mulder, stupid shot. Reverse sweep against Kuldeep Yadav. Temba Bavuma, poor shot. Dhruv Jurel, smart fielding. Kuldeep Yadav, decent bowling. Tony Zizorzi, LBW, nothing to do with the pitch. Maybe slightly. Kyle Verena, absolutely nothing to do with the pitch. So when we are saying pitch, how many dismissals was because of the wicket? And how many dismissals because of poor application on the part of South Africa and decent bowling on the part of India? I would much rather talk about a Bumrah, much rather talk about the Eden Gardens crowd, much rather talk about all of this. Somebody asked, I think, who's asked me this? Why not a 9 a.m. start in Kolkata? Fair question, but I do think the match can continue till 4:30. So the point here is, if the teams don't bowl their overs on time, that's what, see, you got a 9:30 to 11:30 session. You got a 12:10 to 2:10 session. You got a 2:30 to 4:30 session. Effectively, you got your 6 hours of play.
Yeah.
You actually got your 6 hours of play. The fact of the matter is the over rate was so slow that you got 73, 74 overs. Now, for that, you don't change the timings of the game because the teams are bowling slow over rates. In Guwahati, you will see that.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as a problem here. And by the way, it's close to 5 p.m. There's still fair light.
Yeah.
So when we are doing this show, I think 4:30 is a fair time to end because the faster bowlers bowled a lot and because the over rate was slow for whatever reason. Otherwise, I don't see that as a problem.
Someone was telling me that back in Guwahati, they would start much earlier and tea first.
9 o'clock start.
Tea first and then
9
match.
o'clock start.
Okay, I'll take some more questions.
इसलिए मैं इसको आपको दे रहा था.
Ankit is saying I was denied entry into the stadium because I have a backpack. What nonsense is this?
No.
Those are the rules.
No, he had a tab. He had a tab. So Ankit, let me also say this. All of these guys know me. Okay, I did not carry my power bank also. A rule is a rule. Because you cannot go in. If you say I will take my computer in or your camera in, sadly that's not the rule. Shormishta, my wife, was stopped with her lipstick. She said, what are you saying? They said, you will throw this into the crowd. I looked at her and I said, a rule is a rule. Let's go keep it outside in the car and go in. So whatever is a rule, you have to follow. And in the past, we have seen instances of people throwing things. So let's not even go
Which is
there.
why the stands are now in a sort
the current
of jail.
circumstances, the current environment, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Of course. You don't see these rules in England and Australia. It's similar, but not as harsh.
See, in Eden Gardens, we have seen in 1999, a ground had to be emptied for the game to go on, for the India-Pakistan match. We have seen multiple times where crowds have thrown things. So over the years, these things have come in. Who likes any of these rules? You don't. But a rule is a rule. And that's part of our tradition now. So when you have a rule, you follow the rule. You can't do much about it.
Srimanto is saying it's not the wickets rather, but what happens in between. Ball kicking up, scooting not on one day.
See,
not on day one, sorry.
I don't. Did you see balls scooting that much?
No.
Yes, some balls, yes, uneven bounce, but not that many. And secondly, I think application was necessary on the part of your thoughts.
This is exactly what I said, that for India to scale a 300 will require a lot of application from the batsman. It's not going to come easy at all. That's just exactly. And therefore, I think to blame it on the pitch, saying that some balls kept low, I don't think so. I think Boreo just did the analysis. We looked at it wicket by wicket, maybe 1.5. That's the assessment that we have. Let's say 2. But frankly, some poor shot selection, not enough application. I think that was the story of the day as far as South Africa was
If
concerned.
India gets to 300 tomorrow, what will you say? Tell me.
Nothing.
That this is the wicket that India used home advantage. Think of the Manchester wicket on day one. India was all out for 200. It was a green deck. If you remember, 223 India all out. Did we say this is a bad wicket because first day the ball is jagging around everywhere and cloud cover and all of that? We said green wicket, go apply bat. Why are we saying this and that if it's an Indian wicket? Why is this a problem with Indian wickets? This is home advantage. Why are we not saying England used home advantage to the hilt when they played against India?
Sydney?
Come on, boss. Sydney, unplayable wicket. 2.5 days. Go tell Australia Sydney wicket is unplayable, and this is not the
And
kind
it
of cricket
was
wicket that you
absolutely
did. It was horrible.
This is 100 times better than what we saw in Sydney.
Michael Clarke, in my 25 years of watching cricket, this is the worst wicket I've seen. Quoting Michael Clarke. That is what, remember you and
Yes,
I were going to his studio in his car.
Yes.
Come on.
This is
Okay, there's some more. Kolkata and Guwahati more or less sunsets at the same time. Why not start at 9 a.m.? Previously also I think
Guwahati they will
Kolkata
start.
used to start at 9. 9:30 has been a tradition. Guwahati is still further east. So Kolkata, it's not that bad. I mean, and by the way, early morning, this part of the year, there could be fog. There could be, don't just rule that out, that you say 9 o'clock means, okay, there will be no fog, the sun will burst through and you'll get a start. Maybe on some days, you will see a bit of fog and it pushes it up.
And
so 9:30, I don't see that as a problem.
and a little too much dew.
Early morning dew.
Yeah.
So I think 9:30 is perfectly fine. 4:30 is when the game will end. And all of us know that in this part of the world. That's how cricket is. Cricket is part of the weather. I don't see this as a problem, Ashok.
I agree. But we're also saying that when we go to Guwahati, there could
There
be
will be an early start.
Early
It is
start,
an early
yeah.
start.
It is 9 a.m. start. So there you go.
Agnish, will the game go to fourth day? Take that. I have tickets booked for day 4.
Okay.
That's a tough one.
It's a very tough one. I think 3.5, 4 days is what I'm predicting for this one.
So you're giving Agnish a chance to.
I am giving
to
you a
come and
chance.
Ashok,
So I've been sitting and like I said, I said it in half just saying that what if it finishes in 3 days and I have to go back,
you shouldn't. You will
Why
come
will
to
you
the-
go back?
You will come to the studio. All of us will have a party.
Of
Why are you
course.
going that? No
Of
chance in Kolkata.
No, but when I look at what the way India batted and that 39
Yeah.
for 1, I think it's going to be some effort on day 2 and day 3
Definitely.
for India to get to that number. So it's going to go. I mean, my this toss up is really that India is going to put in application. There are going to be at least 2 or 3 people who are going to come in, dig themselves in, play with discipline and get to that 300, 320 kind of a number. And then, the game, India dominates in the second innings is one way the scenario could play out. The other way could be that there is no application and there could be something else that could happen, in which case it becomes even more interesting. I don't want to, pick one of the two at this point of time. But my guess is that it's not going to be a cakewalk. It's not going to be easy.
Not at all.
Application will determine that it will move into the third at the
Again,
fourth day.
the ball is.
Let's take questions quickly. Mad Max, I've got tickets for day 5. Would love to meet you. Day 5 not happening, my friend. Day 5 certainly not happening, my friend. You get your tickets for day 4 and come and meet us. Day 5 not happening. Mad Max, is India pushing Sundar at 3 number? Get options in the 8 number. Basically, he's trying to ask that. Does that give you an extra bowler? Quickly. Yes, it does.
100%. Why else do you think, Washington Sundar would be slotted in at number 3 when you have a perfectly good size Sudarshan? It's about that extra 3D-ness. It's about that extra edge that Washington Sundar brings in. He wants to-
And in a sense, I think Washington Sundar has earned it with the performance that he's done in the domestic circuit, what he's done in England. He's earned it, and therefore he's given the team an opportunity to experiment with this, which is then playing to your strengths. So I don't see an issue at all.
And-
it is actually a classic case of somebody rising up and saying, "Here I am. I am ready to deliver. I have delivered. Why don't you try me?"
And
if you
remember-
get an advantage, then take it.
And remember, in Ranji, Washington Sundar bats at number 3. So I don't know what you guys are going on
He's
about.
at the top of the order for Tamil Nadu.
Yeah.
Let's take more. Should Prasidh Krishna have played? He's not even in the team. Agnish, he's not part of the side. You could have said Akashdeep. Mohammad Hamza, India needs a lead of 150 runs to be in the safe zone. Gargi, quickly.
I think I'd push it to 200.
Oh, then to khatam.
फिर तो जीत गए
200 माने जीत गए.
जीत गए वही तो कह
200 माने आप जोर से और चिल्लाओ.
if you want to win then 200 is what you
Obviously,
should
you
be
wanna win.
pushing
So I
pushing
think-
for.
Freaking awesome. Please do a dugout to discuss whatever. Chala gaya yaar tumhara question. Too many questions coming. Parasuram Sathakarni. Boryada, with due respect, if the ball turns on day one, consistent bounce, no complaints. But up and down on day one looks a little underprepared in my humble opinion. Agree to disagree. Ashok, thoughts? Underprepared, maybe not. There was a bit of uneven bounce.
On the very second delivery.
Some deliveries, not consistent uneven bounce. To say underprepared is my answer.
Absolutely. I don't think it was underprepared, not at all. I mean, I was not there for the interview with the pitch curator, but I think he made sense in terms of what he said. I think we've already described that it was a classic. It's a wicket where unless the batsmen apply themselves, it's going to be difficult. And I think that's really what the story really was. I don't think it was underprepared. I think the ball did keep low in a couple of situations. In fact, even in the India innings, we are finding that the batsmen are finding it a little difficult, when the ball kind of rises steeply off a good length, off the back of a length that Jansen seems to be getting. We'll wait and see how it plays out tomorrow.
In fact, I'm going to add to that. I think all the deliveries that were staying low were on that end. And there is that spot.
Patch.
There is that spot. I think it's that spot that is keeping the bounce uneven.
By the way, Gargi got a little surprised hearing the rail sound. It's the chokro rail which goes from the Ganges right up. So we'll need to put her on the chokro rail. Look at the mosquitoes. Finish the show, otherwise Ashok will be taken by
There's
mosquitoes.
more up there.
Arey boy,
It's like a tornado.
Oh, quick
on
final
top.
few questions. Why South Africa playing only 2 spinners, Mr. Raut?
पूछना पड़ेगा उनसे.
Full marks to the curator, Vaibhav Taragi. Quick bowlers, outnumbered spinners on Indian wicket on day one has been amazing, Ashok.
Sorry.
Spinners, less wickets, faster bowlers, more good to see is what Vaibhav Taragi says.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I really think that Bumrah was just outstanding in terms of the fast bowling. Siraj, I think, giving away too many runs, but he came back and, the way he celebrated, I think the muscle memory kicked in and, he really got that Josh back. I think this was much needed in terms of, getting back to, for a test match, this kind of a performance by the fast bowlers. Absolutely.
Chalo, final question. Predict Gill's runs tomorrow.
अरे बाप रे. 78.
तब तो हो गया, इंडिया जीत गया. Gill 78 मतलब India is definitely scoring 300. Ashok.
I'd rather guess what Washington Sundar is going to score, and I think he will do a half century. That is my
Then Gautam
Lovely.
Gambhir's thing is a
Then
master
फिर
stroke.
तो कल master stroke हो जाएगा. आज गाली पड़ रही है, कल master stroke.
I think that is what we are going to see. I mean, I would rather bet on that.
Okay, so let's finish the show on that note.
Yes.
We will come back at 7 p.m. with our deep dive, because 7 p.m. the 3 of us will record something for you guys. Watch out at 7 p.m. because we'll do a decode of Jasprit Bumrah, because it sort of merits a decode. That's what we will do. And then 7 p.m. tonight, and then tomorrow morning at 8:30 right here. It's getting dark. So we need to close the show now. The floodlights are on. Eden Garden's getting dark, and the mosquitoes having a field day at our expense cannot be that we do the show any longer. On that note, Gargi Raut making a debut as a public announcer, much like Saurav Ganguly and his team pulled a rabbit out of the hat when they picked her from the thing, saying, come on, do this job. Anyway, Ashok Nambudri flying in from Dubai. Umakantoda on camera. Brilliant. This is the Rev Sports team that's going on. The Bengali feed and the Hindi feed are also on. Folks, join us tomorrow. This is a heck of a test match. India means 40,000 plus people. With your Komla Lebu and your apple. And tomorrow's menu, by the way, is biryani. That's what I've been told. The biryani and the chap in the corporate box. So you and I are having that. That's the menu for tomorrow. Back tomorrow. But tonight, 7 p.m., decoding Jasprit Bumrah. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.